Well, Tim, may I be another one of the many Flyer faithful to congratulate you and the team, the program, the university on an amazing run in the NCAA basketball tournament. And you know, the good news doesn't stop there, does it? I mean, this was the first year in the history of Dayton athletics where both the men's and women's team entered into the NCAA tournament in the same year. I know women's volleyball has been nationally ranked, and other teams have achieved at very high levels. And so my question to kick us off today is, how did this transformation of Dayton athletics actually begin?
You know, back in the mid-90s, we really needed to change from an organization that was really relying so much on our tradition to one that really needed to create a successful future for our Flyer athletics. In the 50s and 60s, we were known as having the best basketball record of any team in the country. And in fact, in 1967, we played UCLA for the national championship. But now, fast forward to the year 2000 or so, and the student athletes that we were recruiting weren't even born then, and the parents certainly didn't even remember that era. So that era had really lost its relevance in our world of recruiting student athletes. So we needed to continue to embrace our tradition and our past, but we needed to really create that future. And so you were at the Richmond game. It was the last game of the season. We needed to keep our winning streak going in order to position ourselves better for the NCAA tournament. But at the same time, we invited back our entire Hall of Fame, and we had our Hall of Fame night where we continued to embrace our past.
It's a great night.
But at the same time, when it was all said and done after winning the Richmond game, all the celebrations was about the win in that game and keeping our hopes alive for an NCAA ride. So, you know, again, embracing your tradition is one thing, and it's very important, but creating that future is paramount.
So in terms of creating that future, what forward-looking strategies did the athletics department have to adopt in order to ensure that future success?
You know, we needed the right people to begin with. We needed people who were no longer so concerned about where their desk was at and where their cup of coffee went on their desk, but we needed people who were interested in embracing the mission and where we were headed, and grabbing that, and not worried where their desk was at, and moving our mission forward. We needed to focus on what we needed to do to recruit 18-year-olds, and what we needed to keep our investors interested in helping us to be successful. Outside of scholarship monies, we are generally self-sufficient. So our investors include our corporate sponsors, our donors, our season ticket holders, all around men's basketball. So what they want for us is they want us to win, they want us to graduate our student athletes, and they want us to do it the right way. And so all of our processes had to really be focused on that. Finally, the third thing is we had to change all the processes and infrastructure behind the scenes to really make this work. And quite frankly, this is what's taken the most effort.
And the most time?
Without question.
Well, give me some examples of those. What are some examples of platform changes and how they benefited your teams, how they benefited the department?
Yeah, you know, there's two or three that really come to mind right away. First, as we talked about a little bit earlier, our recruiting processes had to change. Our support staff was exceptional at delivering hard brochures, booklets, mailings for student athletes. But the current high school student is so visual. What we really needed to do was to provide them with information over their telephone, over their iPad, over their computer. It was a very different way of delivering information. So we needed to quit preparing the materials that we were good at and need to learn new skills and understand new technology for us to be able to communicate in a way that we were able to really recruit successfully the student athletes that we wanted. Second, we needed, you know, it was pretty interesting, we needed to completely change how we sell and deliver tickets. The basketball tickets really are our lifeblood. I mean, it's really critical to us. Having an old school ticket office was just obsolete. What worked 30 years ago does not work today in delivering in today's environment. It just doesn't. And so we needed to deliver and communicate in real time using the technology and the applications that are available to us now, because our season ticket holders want to communicate to us in real time, and they want real live information on how we're doing right now. They don't want to wait for those brochures to be delivered. The entire system that we had that was in place, and it was very successful for a long time, had to completely be revamped and redone for us to be able to deliver to our season ticket holders. And now our season ticket holders are enjoying that. And the third one, and finally, you look at it, intercollegiate athletics has a number of organizations that we need to report to. The NCAA, the conference office, the Department of Education, the school itself. So one of our critical measures is, of course, doing things the right way. Well, we needed to change all of our processes and our systems away from just reporting the information to making sure we prevented a problem, particularly with the NCAA. And so what we've done is our processes are now designed to make sure that we're monitoring everything while it goes, so that we're really able to perform our governance function really well. I think I'm sure your risk management area is probably well in tune to that.
Yeah, we have someone very focused on just looking at things in a different way, again, to mitigate risk and to
just really to find out, to find things before they become a problem.
Exactly. Well, we've talked about the platforms and performance. In the context of college athletics, when you think of the word accountability, what comes to your mind?
Yeah, we really try to keep things really simple. We're accountable really for three things. We have to win. We have to win a lot of games, and we have to win championships. We have to be a national leader in graduating our student athletes, because that has been something the university has been known for just simply years. And finally, everybody involved with the university wants to make sure we do it the right way. Mm-hmm. So everybody in athletics has a role, and they have to embrace that role with the idea that they're responsible and accountable for making sure that we hit those targets. And that's really been our total focus. Take, for instance, our facilities area. They could be really good at running our UD Arena and then all the rest of our facilities for all 17 of our sports. But they take great pride in making sure that the NCAA keeps coming back here, like they have since 2001, to operate and run the opening round games of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. It is really their pride and joy, and they are the reason why we're really able to capture that every year, and the road to the Final Four starts in Dayton, Ohio. And that's really, I would give all the credit in the world to our facilities area for just taking complete ownership for that. So they're responsible and they're accountable for it.
Can't get to the Final Four without the first four, and Dayton hosts that every year since 2001.
Since 2001, it's really a source of pride for the community as well as for the institution.
It's awesome. Well, one last question, and to kind of bring it all together, but when I think about the changes you've made to the platform and to enhance performance, what has that meant to the brand of the Dayton Flyers, as well as the overall value to the institution like the University of Dayton?
Our brand right now is at the highest level it's been in simply years. But really, this has taken a long time to get to. I can remember before I went over to the game in Memphis to the Elite Eight, I was looking out the window, and I caught myself just thinking about all the people who have been beaten on this rock for as long as we've been beaten on this rock. And that rock was, we needed to make a run in the NCAA tournament. Mm-hmm. And after 30 years, that rock broke. And it was done because of a lot of good work from a lot of people who never really got to enjoy it necessarily why they were here, but it happened. And it was one of those moments where you just realize that when you're in these changes and these processes, it just takes a long time to make sure that you get to where you'd like to get to. But what it's done for the institution, it's bought publicity that we couldn't buy. You know, for instance, everybody's trying to figure out what all this was really meant. Well, I can tell you donations are up, I can tell you admissions are up, and I can tell you our season tickets for next year are already off the chart. But at the end, it's how do you measure all that? Well, Brian Williams on NBC News did literally a 1-minute spot to close his show during
Nightly news.
Yeah, during the run, and that 1 minute was all about the University of Dayton Flyers, and how the community has just embraced the Flyers and has for years. And we found out that to value that 1 minute of time with that level of credibility, you would have had to spend $10 million to get that. And so, you know, the value to the institution is geometrical compared to anything that we've done before, and we're interested in really seeing right now how we can capitalize on that performance. You know, at the end, we still need to keep trying to figure out how to win one more game. You know, how to graduate one more student athlete, but now we're just moving that from a different platform and a different level than we've been before. Could you tell me what the hell you're going to use this thing for?
That's a really good question. Well, last year I talked about Karen's dad and the fact that he took a number of risks and made significant investments and frankly changed the way that milk was produced at the dairy farm level. So I'm sure that there's a number of folks who will be listening to us today, and they'll be glad to know that I'm not going to spend time trying to turn them into a dairy farmer.
But can we turn them into Dayton Flyer fans?
You know, with that lead-in video and some of what we've been talking about, there's a good chance that we may have done that.
Okay, great.
Well, Tim, thanks again for your time this weekend and for your remarks and your comments, and go Flyers.
Thanks a lot, Barry.